every few months, I notice my habits, my behaviors slipping, right? Shorter workouts, more missed sessions, lazy nutrition. I rely on protein bars a lot to get my protein. Going to bed later, waking up later off the back of that, lower mood, lower productivity, essentially just getting a bit sloppy across the board. And annoys me because they're not the standards I hold myself to, and they are not the actions that are going to produce the outcomes that I want, right? From the goals I've set. So when this happens, or when it happens to a client, we do something called a reset week. Now, the aim of the reset week is to reset my routine and embed strong habits. Or for our clients, we just go back. Hey, let's go over your routine again. Let's discuss why is this important, right? For me, it's a week where I'm really pretty tough on myself for a week. And for when we're looking at the client from a client perspective, we're checking in with them very a lot more frequently than we would, maybe multiple times throughout the day. It's not about, for that week anyway, it's not about flexibility or balance, and it's rare to hear me say that, but this week isn't, right? Because we've been getting sloppy. We need to do something to lock in. This week for us is about discipline. It's about proving to yourself that you can set yourself high standards and meet them. It's about re-ingraining those habits that were serving you before. And one of the best times to do this after a reset week is after a holiday or after even an illness, right? I really like the idea so the pattern interrupt of a holiday, it happens. It's really good because, clients go away, they relax. But with that sort of reset week, it helps reset, refocus, and come back with real intention, right? A holiday messes up your routine, it's often seen as a negative, but I want to switch that to reframe it as a positive. There's, holidays are fun. You get to spend time with family, experience new things. Most of us start things, diets, exercise regimes, with all these good intentions, and slowly the behaviors start to sway slightly, and it's what is known as a regression to the mean. So having that reset week, we're all human. You're never going to be perfect throughout. Oh, I'm on it 24/7 for the last 10 years. It's not true, right? Have that reset week every now and again. It puts you back on track, and obviously post holiday is a great time for this because you're all over the place after a holiday. And here's my tips to reset weeks. They're not meant to be easy or flexible. It's about being disciplined for a week, because after that it gets a lot easier, right? After that, that week is all about rebuilding that trust in yourself that you said, I'm going to do these things, and you do them. Basically, you're going to do the things you said you were going to do. The second point is, I think, set realistic targets, right? Don't overpromise, because that negates the whole point of rebuilding that trust with yourself. So use range targets, and I can go over those in a bit. Number 3 is really fix that routine, embed that routine. It's all about creating a solid routine, which means it's pointless to set yourself unrealistic targets that you can't maintain. That leads to more disappointment, more self-sabotage, more lack of trust building in yourself. I want you to use this week as a reminder to live intentionally and curate the life that you want. If you want to lose 10 kilos, then do the actions that are going to move you closer to that mark, to help you live the life that you want. You only get one, right? Specifically, if you're doing this post-holiday, weigh yourself after your reset week. Don't weigh yourself before, right? It's, you come back, you're going to be 3 kilos heavier, and you'll be very, very, very disappointed. A lot of water weight and things like that. Here's what the most recent reset week looked like, and it's going to look different for you because you're not me, and these are based on my goals. But here's an idea. Actually, I'll give you mine. I'll give you our clients as well. I'll give you our clients, right? So the bedtime that we set for her was 11:30. She was getting to bed at 1 p.m. Now, it's got to be realistic, right? The non-negotiable, it was 11:30 for her. She was getting to bed at 1 a.m. Now, is that optimal? No. Optimal is probably 10 p.m. based on her schedule. She's a teacher, by the way. The second is the workouts. We said, hey, normally you do 5 workouts that are around 30 to 45 minutes a week. No, we're going to go 3 workouts. That's it. That's all we're going to do. And then the steps is going to be the non-negotiable for her was 12,000, right? She wasn't getting that before the holiday. She was getting far more. Optimal for her, based on what we discussed, is 14,000. Right, so we can see this the different targets now. The range is coming in. Her nutrition was not about being perfect. It's all it was this week we don't have more than 1 protein bar a day, right? The optimal version of that is probably more than no more than 2 a week, right? I want to reiterate, this week is not about balance. It's a resetting the standards you expect of yourself for a week. Right, and there's no excuses for a week because you're absolutely capable of that, and sometimes you need to remind yourself that you are. And this is why I think that setting those realistic targets, in other words, not making promises to yourself that you can't keep, is important. And then those realistic range targets take away that excuse to give up when you can't be perfect. Because hey, that lower target is well within the reach, even if shit hits the fan. I hope it's been useful. If you want, my dog's going crazy at the neighbour. If you want more support to feel your best, lose weight in menopause, just send us a DM saying me.